All right, welcome back, everyone, to your local election headquarters. We are joined now by Representative Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, I'm casual this morning.
Hey, we don't blame you. You had a late night, early morning, and congratulations on your win, a second term in Congress. You beat out your opponent, Bo Lee Joy, 64% to 36%. This is a pretty significant win. So what do you think helped you come away with the victory last night?
Well, the honest answer is I don't know, but over the last 2 years, I've just tried to focus on doing my job and not on sort of scoring cheap political points. And then two, it was important to me to run an entirely positive campaign. I've heard a lot of people over the last 3 weeks in particular, as we got into the final stretch of the campaign, just complaining about all the negative ads that are out there, all the money that's flooding into all these races. And at the end of the day, that's not giving the voters a better choice. And so I just try to talk about what I wanted to do, what I've accomplished in my first 2 years, and where I want to go. And I think people responded to that.
Now let's talk about on a national level, because it looks like the Democrats will take over the House, and that means it looks like Nancy Pelosi would be in charge. What do you think that means for Republicans like yourself now that you are potentially going to be the minority?
Well, I'm not going to lie, it will make it more difficult to get things done, and I'm very worried about the direction we're headed in terms of things like continuing the rebuild and modernization of the American military. But for me personally, I'm just going to stay focused on policy, on what is right for Northeast Wisconsin. I'm willing to work with anyone if it's good for Northeast Wisconsin, and so that's going to be my focus regardless of who's in charge. The final thing I'd say is that regardless of who controls the House, until we actually reform the process through which Congress operates, until we restore regular order, until we force the members of Congress to do their job, until we implement things like term limits, it's my belief that neither party is going to be successful. We'll keep punting big issues to the next generation. That's unacceptable. So I have put forward a reform package. I'm part of the Problem Solvers Caucus. We have a Break the Gridlock package, and I'm hoping next week when we're back in session, we'll have the debate about how to fix the House as an institution.
And let's go back to your ads and what you were just saying there, too. You are more of a partisan guy, where you're trying to get more, a bipartisan guy, where you're trying to get more of the, people together and work together on this, on legislation. Talk about the importance of that, because like you said in your ads, it looks like people did respond when they went to the polls.
Well, listen, I'm a conservative, and I can explain why that is. But at the end of the day, I just want to have an open and honest debate about what's working, what isn't, so we can make sure that we are not funding failure and we're reinforcing success. And I'm open to challenging my beliefs, right? If someone on the other side can make an argument or show me data to suggest that my view is wrong, I'm open to changing that. But at the end of the day, it's important because the founders and framers of this country created a system where you have to work with other people to get things done. Certainly my experience in the military taught me that in order to get anything difficult done, you have to work with other people. And so I'm always looking for opportunities to sort of work with people, even if they're in a different party. And there's a lot of issues nowadays that don't fall neatly along conservative or Democratic lines, or what used to be conservative is now scrambled and it's all up in the air. So I just try and stay focused on getting the job done for Northeast Wisconsin.
Let's talk about this election too, because we did have record voter turnout. We had absentee ballots. Early voting was off the charts, not just here in Wisconsin, but across the state. How important was this midterm election, and just the result that so many people were eager to get out and vote? I mean, it really says a lot about the direction of the country and how people really feel, right?
Well, I think it's important that everyone gets engaged, everyone gets out there, and so the more people participating in our democracy, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I think we've made some strides in Wisconsin in terms of making early voting easier and giving people a variety of options. And so the more people have a stake in their own future, the more people understand what a privilege it is to exercise their vote, to go to the ballot box, and understand that that is not a privilege a lot of people around the world share, the better off we'll be as a country.
And you were telling me in the break that you are going back to D.C. on Tuesday. So this is your second term. What do you plan to continue to do? You mentioned a few things earlier, but just to really represent the 8th Congressional District when you head back to D.C.
Well, so sort of beyond the big things that I'll be working on my committees, I mentioned rebuilding the military. We've had 2 years of success, and it's going to require at least 8 more years to get to where we need to be, so we can't stop on that. Some issues that are particular to this neck of the woods, one, clean water, and that's both a federal and a state issue, primarily a state and local issue. We're having discussions right now about what's the next phase of our Save the Bay effort here in Northeast Wisconsin. Things like reforming the VA. We have a lot of veterans in Northeast Wisconsin that aren't getting the care they need. We've had some success so far. There's more we need to do, but there's a lot of things we need to do, and so I will have a lot on my plate when we go back next week.
All right, and that'll kick off on Tuesday. So Congressman Mike Gallagher joined us on Local 5 this morning, earning a second term in Congress, representing Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District. We appreciate the time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Stick with Local 5. We have more election coverage and a check on your forecast right after this.